So, how do you like them tree lights? Back in the 80s, some cool people discovered MZ. But if you're waiting for the blackout, possibly not the best lights ever to have hit the streets.
Well, the bike I had to get because I didn't have it. Although I'd ridden back when I was a kid, I had no license, so I had to buy an MZ.
Oh.
And I actually didn't mind it. I thought, well, it's kind of like a BSA 125 almost, you know.
Yeah.
As always, I'd like to get my disclaimer in. This is a what happened video, not a how to. In particular, I sourced all my LED bulbs from these people. I have no links to them whatsoever, and they're not cheap. And also, you should ensure that your headlight bulb is E-marked in particular, I would suggest. So though I like to keep this bike as stock as possible, it doesn't stop improving some little things. I've got a Mikuni carburetor. Perfect, just runs so much better, starts better, ticks over better. That's been very good. I've got a gel cell rather than a lead acid, so it tends to hold its charge. It tends to be able to cope better than the old-fashioned batteries which died pretty quick. I've gone with electronic ignition, but I still use the points, so there's no high voltage on the points now, so they'll never wear out, and that deals with the voltage for the spark. And the biggest thing, I suppose, or one of the main things, is to change the bulbs to LED. Now, there is some ambiguity about LED bulbs, but they're becoming more accepted, I think. And my MOT guy, who is the person who decides, told me to fit LED bulbs. He's very pro it. Your MOT person might be anti it. I know one person, a friend of mine, who questioned me about it. He's an MOT inspector. So at the moment it's on dubious ground as to whether it's accepted or not. But my MOT guy was all for it. I'd taken them out for the MOT, but he told me to put them back in. So still a 6-volt system. Haven't bothered with changing any of the charging system. I want to keep it as it is. The original regulator. Look at it, even got the original fuses. And it runs just perfect. At least the transport department have recognised that things are changing, and I just think it's safer. So see if you can spot one change though that's probably not legal. Howdo, Codge Biker here. I've got some LED bulbs for the old MZ, and it's dark in the shed, so I can check the pattern. So this is the standard bulb. Low beam, high beam. Low beam is just here, so the battery's going flat. High beam's about there. Yeah. Battery's not great. That's it, because the indicator's on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove the headlight and change for an LED bulb. The idea being that it takes much less current, so that I can ride the bike around without over taxing the generator and battery, but have a little bit more visibility. People are always going to pull out, but you know, give yourself the best chance, particularly on a slow old bike. Of course, what I haven't done is check that I've actually got the bulb. I bought it a year ago. It's got to be here somewhere, hasn't it? Put it on the shelf, so it's now free, obviously. There. 3 prongs. Okie dokie, dinky do. I have got some different 6-volt LED bulbs. This one is probably a replacement for the side light, one will be the tail light, and one will be the brake light at the back. Can't remember which. So this is the headlight, which says 5 to 15 volts non-power, so that's quite a voltage range. 6000K, whatever that means. There's the LED equivalent. There's the incandescent. Well, same fitting, so hopefully it'll work. Well, there's the side light bulb. Yep, it fits. Yes. There you go. There's my side light, LED. Right, so here's our LED. That's on. The earth goes to the side, look, on a spring. So there's the original 6-volt side light. That's what it looks like. Very little current, but obviously when the front one's on, so is the rear one, so I need to change the LED in the back as well. But will the headlight work? Let's find out. Side light, headlight, main beam, dip, main beam, dip. That doesn't look too different. Main beam, dip, main beam, dip. To me that doesn't look too different to the original, so that's a good pattern. Happy with that. But look at the front. It's a much brighter, whiter light. Yeah, I'll reset that bulb and I think that's going to be fine. Much less current being taken. Very pleased with that. That would have passed its MOT, I'm absolutely certain. Even though it's LED, that's so close to the original pattern. There's nothing across the top. So yeah, very good. Happy. Let's do the tail light. So I've got the rear lens off carefully, don't want to crack these, and change the two bulbs. One is the tail light and number plate light. The other one is the rear brake light. Come on. Which one are you still clinging? Is it you? There you go. I think, because that looks like the indicator, and that looks like the indicator, that's the right one for the top. So side light, or tail light, brake light. I can't see what it looks like, but you can, and I do know it worked. A tail light bulb. Alright. Worry about touching those from the days of halogen where you didn't touch a bulb, did you? In case your fingerprints damaged it, but I don't suppose these really like being touched either. So, tail light, brake light. Tail light, brake light. Of course I can't see it. That seems very bright. I'll probably swap those over actually. I may have got them in the wrong place. Brilliant. Get it? Brilliant. You can see the drain just for an indicator bulb compared to the LEDs. Okie dokie. Well, this is a continuation of the LED bulb thing. Now this doesn't work properly. It does work, but not properly. So I'm going to replace the 6-volt high current relay blinker unit with a low current modern version that will trigger with LED bulbs. Problem is that on this bike, when this light here doubles as both the indicator light and the charge light. It goes out when the bike's charging, but it flashes when you use the indicators. Thus, the battery's a bit flat now, so it's not working properly. So the problem is current leaks from that and triggers the LED low current blinker unit. So it clicks when the bike's turned on, even though the indicators aren't working. But as soon as you start the bike, that light goes out and that unit stops making a noise. So I can live with that. And in a way, it reminds you to turn the ignition off because you hear it clicking. So I'm going to go with that for now. It's not a difficult job. First of all, MZ, in their infinite wisdom, used a piece of sponge with staples in it to isolate the blinker unit from earth so it can't short out. And there's the blinker unit. X is the single black, L has the 2 wires. So this blue wire here could actually be the problem. I think that runs up to the bulb, so I might be able to put a diode in that. That might sort it out, but we'll worry about that another day. For today, that's L, 2 wires. So this is as you can see, it's 2 times 21 watt, which is quite a lot of current to trigger that, which these bulbs take quite a lot of current. The LED bulbs take hardly any, and it just will not trigger the relay. So we have to have a sensitive relay. So here it is. Now you'll notice there's one difference. It has an earth coat wire that has to be connected, and I found the best place to connect it was here, where all the other earths go. Anyway, before we can do that, I need to put this earth cable in. So what I'm going to do is reinstall the sponge. It's a piece of 1980 sponge which has been in the bike from new. There you go. And that will then reach down to this earth point here. I can slide that in. Job's a good one. Tighten it up. Right, that's that done. I thought I'd cracked it because I put it on. Can you hear it clicking? Now, these are the wrong kind of bulbs, but it does work. But when you turn it off, listen. And I think that's because of that blue wire that goes up to the light. It's taking current, which is triggering it. So we'll try a diode in that later on, but for now, let's just get the bulbs in. So as I say, when you turn the bike on, it starts doing that. But in a way that's quite good because it's an audible sound to tell you that the ignition's on, so you don't walk off and leave it and burn the coil out. And that light goes out once the engine's running and the blinker stops blinking, so it's not such a disadvantage really. But I think there's a way to cure that anyway. But for now, I'm quite happy with it. So let's start the bike with sufficient revs. That light goes out. So here's our front indicator, your self-tapping screws into plastic. Here's the bulb, incandescent type. So the job is to replace it with a LED. There we go, there's the rear light now with the LED in it. Show you. Much brighter and much more consistent on off. The 6-volt indicators on this bike, as many bikes in the 80s, were absolutely terrible. Look at this. Oh well, one day maybe I'll sort that diode out, but quite like the fact it makes that noise. I'll leave the power on. Mind you to turn it off. So, how do you like them tree lights? Well, wishing you a Merry Christmas and an Atomic War-free New Year from Codger Biker and Ernesto, the cat with no hat. Say goodbye, Ern. Bye-bye. Merry Christmas.
I've given you all that praise. What do you reckon? Fantastic. Put the stand up this time. Is that the Chinese move? Beautiful. And if I should die before I get home, well, I've had all this. Can't complain.